All right, with that being said, I'd like to start our April 24th, 2023 City of Palm Springs Parks and Recreation Commission meeting to order. Can we start with a call to order, please?
Okay, when I call your name, please indicate if you are present. Chair Alcorn,
Present.
Vice Chair Donato,
Present.
Commissioner Crawford,
Present.
Commissioner Diaz is excused, Commissioner Finland,
Present.
Commissioner Meyer,
Present.
Commissioner Moralia,
Present.
and Commissioner Spellman is excused as well. So we have all members present with Commissioners Diaz and Spellman excused.
Awesome. All right, with that being said, can we get a report of the posting of the agenda, please?
So the agenda for this meeting was posted on April 19th in accordance with our public meeting posting requirements.
All right, with that being said, can we get an approval of the minutes? Everybody have a chance to look them over? Change. Got a motion by Michael Finland. Can we get a second?
Second.
Awesome. Second,
And I'll do the roll call.
John, sorry. Sorry.
I'll abstain. I wasn't at the meeting. I did read the minutes, but I'll abstain this time.
Okay.
Commissioner Donato, it's fine if you've looked over the minutes and you viewed the meeting on YouTube.
I just looked over the minutes as far as the written minutes.
Okay. Chair Alcorn,
Yes, yes.
Commissioner Crawford,
Yes.
Commissioner Finland,
Yes.
Commissioner Meyer,
Yes.
Commissioner Moralia,
Yes.
motion carries.
All right, with that being approved, this section of the meeting has been put aside for public comment. This time has been set aside for members of the public to address Parks and Recreation Commission on items and on agenda items and items of general interest within the subject matter jurisdiction of the commission. Although the commission values your comments pursuant to Brown Act in general cannot take any action on items not listed on posted agenda. There is a 3-minute of a sign for each speaker. After that, your time will be done. With that being said, is there any public comment? One lady in the back. Got a couple people.
an update of the master plan for Parks and Recreation. And what I would like to ask is that the commission take a look at pool capacity existing and what you believe is going to be needed in the future, kind of running in parallel with what you have in the general plan. I think it's the opportunity, the perfect opportunity to do this methodically and not wait until we're responding to public outcry and hysteria, so that we don't have another, and I'm sorry for saying it, another navigation center that suddenly becomes so urgent, it gets put the first place it can go without enough community involvement. So my request or suggestion to the commissioners is that you make sure you consider this with the updated master plan. We've got more pickleball courts, we've got more tennis courts, we keep building dog parks, everything out there is increasing in capacity as is appropriate because the population is as well. So let's take care of those swimmers too.
Thank you. Absolutely, absolutely perfect timing. Thank you, Lori. Next public speaker, John.
Hi, I'm John Stabler from Palm Springs. I just have some very brief comments, basically just to thank you guys for what you're doing. I'd like to thank the commission and staff for studying the root causes of the current issues and the longer term structural frustrations. For more than a decade, our pool has had more closures than similar pools. I'm impressed that Ms. Weiss grasps the structural challenges and is hiring a manager with overall responsibility. It's very good that staff understands the strengths from before the pandemic when people who work could swim in the early morning. That's it. So thank you for your work.
Thank you, John. Thank you, John. Any other public comments at this time? Yes, sir. Thank you for joining the Parks and Rec Commission. You'll get 3 minutes, sir.
Thank you.
Go ahead and start.
My name is Steve Sapora, and I wanted to, first of all, thank you as commissioners for setting up the ad hoc committee. It's a privilege to be on the pickleball ad hoc committee, and I want to thank you, Vaughn and Michael, for your leadership on that. So I'm here to talk about a couple things. One is there's some ongoing problems that we've brought to the ad hoc committee, and as you know, I have to tell you about it's kind of a thankless job sometimes. So we're relaying frustration from some of the pickleball community, and we have a little frustration of our own. We're very excited about the new plans, but there's ongoing maintenance problems that are getting dragged out, and there's not enough information to the public about why that's happening. I understand there's different silos in the city and everybody's got their own function, but at some level, there needs to be better coordination and then communication about what's really happening out there. So I'm going to talk about one issue that's been ongoing for quite some time, and that's the use of DG around the courts. So anyone who plays court sports knows that you have to have the right shoes. The right shoes have grids on them that pick up DG, and then you take that on the court. You not only slide on it, but then you ruin the surface of the court. So this has been going on for a couple of years. I know the pandemic put a slowdown on a lot of things, but it's something that should be an easy fix, but it isn't happening. And it is something that should be taken care of well before we get into any kind of discussion or building of any new facilities. We got to take care of the ones we have. So I just wanted to relay that on behalf of the ad hoc committee. And once again, thank you for all the other support that you provided.
Thank you, sir. Any other public comment this time? Please come on forward.
Sign up. I was supposed to.
No.
It's okay.
No sign up.
Hello, everybody.
How you doing, sir? Welcome to the,
So I work with T and a bunch of others on the ad hoc pickleball committee.
You should just say your name.
David Feldman, sorry, Palm Springs. Thank you. So I just want to read some numbers loud. This is from the weather app. 95, 95, 95, 99, 104, 104, 102. And then we're going to get a break next Monday. It's going to be 89. We've been Among the issues, and as T pointed out, we don't have time to sort of run through all the issues that we've been talking about. Michael certainly knows, he's been infinitely patient listening to them, and Yvonne and the staff. But one of the things that we've asked for a while is for somebody to look at the lights. And it's, I'm gonna say, this is really painful because the city council a couple of weeks ago approved $5 million for lights for everything else except for pickleball at Demuth, and as far as I understand, the caveat language, at Demuth and Sunrise Park. And it's just sort of sad. We have a bunch of people who are gonna go out there because they can't now. And, you know, we're at the beginning of the season where you really can't go back out until 5 or 6 in the afternoon, not even 5 o'clock. It's pretty hot out there. You know, we have a lot of things to implore the city to sort of move along, but this one is like right sort of in our time and space right now. We have people who, you know, go out and you can ask the chief. Chief Mills is one of our devoted pickleball players. He knows, he can tell you, he can testify that the lights out there are really dangerous to the players, who it's our only time to be out there other than between 6 and 9 in the morning. And as the summer progresses, it's going to get worse. I don't know if I've exceeded my 3 minutes, but if I haven't, I'm going to stop so I can get a credit for a future comment. Thank you for listening, and hopefully we'll get some progress on that front.
Thank you, David.
Thank you.
Any other public comment at this time?
We have public comment on Zoom, then if there's no one else in the room.
All right, we'll take the Zoom public comment.
Okay, so first we have Mary Barcelo.
Can you hear us, Mary?
I think she's just joined now.
Mute. How's that? Can you hear me now?
Yes.
Yes.
Anyway, I want to thank Yvonne and Michael for all the work on the ad hoc and everyone else who's been coming. And we want to thank you so much for the bathrooms and for fixing the fence and for the windscreens and for the court barriers. My comments about the court barriers, it's windy at this time of year. They need to be filled with more water or sand so they don't fall over, or they need to have bungee cords. Doesn't help you to have a barrier if it's always falling over. So that's not my main part of adding to the ad hoc committee. It's just having those court barriers, which are a safety concern, to weight them so that they can do their job. And my last observation is, I noticed that the paint is fading out again on the courts because of the heavy use in the sun. So if we look and see, we're going to need to start looking at resurfacing again pretty soon because the old tennis lines are showing through. So it's a continuous maintenance, but most of the people playing are really happy about the changes. And I just wanted, as an ambassador for pickleball in the desert, I wanted to say thank you for all your help. Thank you, Yvonne. Thank you, Michael. That's it.
Thank you, ma'am.
And I believe we have one additional person. Stan May, we're going to slide into the meeting. Mr. May, can you hear us?
There we go.
Yes, there I am. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can.
This is your time to talk, sir. You go ahead. You got 3 minutes with the Parks and Recreation.
Thank you. I just wanted to take a minute to commend Lindy and her staff for the outstanding job they've been doing at keeping the swim center up and running, plenty of lifeguards, no closures. It's been fabulous. And I just wanted to I know that I've written my share of more negative emails, but I want to make sure that I also acknowledge when it's really running nicely and say, thank you very much, Lindy and her staff. That's it. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Nice, always good to finish on a positive note. That's always good.
And then do we have any others? So just one last check. If there's anyone on Zoom who wants to make a public comment, can you raise your hand? Okay, looks like that is it.
All right, with that being said, we're gonna move on to the next part of our agenda, which is the director's report. Ma'am, would you mind?
Absolutely. Let's see, there we go. Okay, some updates on items that have gone to council as well as what's coming up at council meetings that affect Parks and Rec. The contract was awarded for the LED lighting of our ball fields at Demuth and at Sunrise Park. And that contract was awarded to the Southern Contracting Company. At this week's council meeting, we have 2 items on the agenda. We have the contract for the landscape conversions, which you have been working on over the past several months, as well as the contract for the new playground equipment at Demuth and Victoria Parks. We have new signage. So on the right side of your screen there, you can see what our new playful signage looks like. So this signage is installed right now at Victoria Park. So the public is aware that we are doing a project to replace that equipment. So it's a little bit friendlier, at least when you see a sign that indicates when the project will be done.
Great job. That looks great. Seriously.
We've been talking about over the past couple of meetings as well, the RFP that went out for the new architectural services for the swim center. So of course, that RFP was issued in January. The contract was awarded in April. The contract went to Interactive Design Corporation. And a couple weeks ago, we had our first project kickoff meeting with the principal architect. And again, this project will include improvements to the restrooms, fencing, as well as the new entryway. Here is a wall that was a bit of an eyesore over at the swim center. We had taken down some signage over the months, and obviously you could see the areas behind that weren't painted. So I'm happy to show you this image, which looks amazing now with a fresh coat of paint. We are still using our website as one of the ways that we are communicating about what's going on over at the swim center. So this is just a screen capture from what the website looks like today. In the community news section, we are announcing that we are doing an upcoming community outreach meeting with the city manager on May 16th at 5:30, and we'll talk a little bit more about that later in this meeting. Oh, we also, I think I didn't. And right underneath that, we have the facility update section. So that section will make any announcements to changes in operations at the swim center. And that is often where we may put any information about closures of the swim center. Right now, we have the update in the facility update section about the change to the swim lane reservation system. So at last month's meeting, we had talked about doing a pilot program to modify the reservation system. We are going to start that pilot now on May 1st. We initially thought we were going to start it last month, but we're now starting it on May 1st. And what this pilot will do is it will, between the 7 a.m. to 11 a.m. period, there will be half of the lanes available for reservations and the other half of the lanes being available for just drop-in swimmers. So that means at 7 a.m., if you've not made a reservation, you can still come over to the swim center and there will be lanes for swimming without reservation. We'll pilot that over the next month and we'll collect feedback as well to see how it's working. Shifting gears on some amazing events that have taken place. On April 2nd, we had opera in the park. I don't know if anyone has attended this event in the past, but it's highly applauded, an amazing event in Sunrise Park to hear opera. We had our annual Easter egg hunt at the James O. Jesse Center on Friday, April 7th as well. And some photos of that. And I would be absolutely awful to not recognize that it was the 85th anniversary of the city of Palm Springs. We had a huge event all over downtown. I'm sure many people attended this as well. So April 20th of 1938 was when the city was incorporated. So we celebrated an amazing 85 years with cupcakes, live entertainment, and an amazing car procession that included a car from every year from 1938 to 2023. And what that did is it gave all of our attendees an opportunity, if they didn't mind standing next to the car that was actually going to indicate the year they were born, it would give them the opportunity to have that great photo shoot. So we don't know if people stood next to the right cars or not, but it certainly was a whole lot of fun out there. So these are just some amazing photos of that momentous occasion. On Wednesday, April 12th, we joined the library in the annual Family Fun Fest. So Parks and Rec was out there from 9 to 12 over at our Palm Springs Stadium. And here's just a couple of photos of that event. On Saturday, April 15th, we had our inaugural World Art Day Festival at Duluth Park from 3 to 10 with arts vendors and a lot of live entertainment. And I've got some photos of that event to show you as well. Most of our entire department was there in full swing. And I know we had our commissioners there as well, including Commissioner Armstrong from the Art Commission. Amazing attendance for a first year event. There's just some more photos. There's some amazing crochet art that was done on site. And Miss Chair Alcorn with our Parks and Rec staff, Janice Lopez, trying out one of the adapted bikes on the right. Here were our little Da Vinci's painting. Of course, food trucks. We always need food at our events. Some amazing chalk sidewalk art. And there's Commissioners Diaz and Moralia as well. And of course, table Jenga. And then the event went well into the evening, or not well into the evening. It ended at 10, but that's late for me, I guess. So that was well into the evening with the illuminated bike parade. And the flag twirling.
They were good.
Yeah, that was amazing. Spring camp just wrapped up. So our 2 spring camps over at the Leisure Center at James O. Jesse, we had a 2-week spring camp program, arts, crafts, cooking activities, as well as field trips. So here are some of the shots from the kids over at Boomers, having fun, rock climbing, making some art as well. And they also did a field trip to check out the Desert X installation. And this is the Gerald Clark Desert X installation that's at James O. Jesse. We got a presentation on just recently. I have a couple save the dates for upcoming things. So Cinco de Mayo, so May 5th, we've got Parks and Rec is producing 2 Cinco de Mayo events. Obviously both on 5/5 at 5 o'clock in the evening. You can head over to Duluth or you can head over to James O. Jesse to enjoy food, music, games, and at Duluth there's Loteria as well. So save the date. You've got 2 options and you have enough time to do both too. We're also doing a paint party at the Duluth Community Center on Friday, May 19th. And this is with the Asian American and Pacific Islander Heritage Month. This is a free event as well. That's Friday, May 19th. And then on Tuesday, May 16th, we are doing our second Palm Springs Swim Center community outreach meeting with the city manager. That will be at 5:30 again in the pavilion in Sunrise Park. Recruitment, right now, the recruitment that we have that is still posted on the website is for the Assistant Director of Parks and Recreation. That opportunity closes on April 28th at 4 p.m. If you know of anyone who's not yet applied, please send them over to our website. We have been hiring over the past 4 weeks since our last meeting. We have hired a program coordinator, we have hired park rangers, we've hired a rec program assistant. And we have our offers out for our lifeguard trainees, as well as hired a lead lifeguard and a lifeguard.
Great job, honestly. Get those employees in, great job.
And I'm excited to, he's not here this evening, but I'm excited to welcome George Ramirez, who is the City of Palm Springs' very first park ranger. And George started last Monday, and he has the official park ranger uniform on there. So,
That's cool.
2 additional park rangers also started today, but I do not have their logos yet, so I will announce them at next month's meeting. But congratulations to George for having the wonderful distinction of being the very first
Yes.
park ranger. And then just a reminder about, what are the park rangers doing? The park rangers are going to assist us in managing our public spaces. They're going to help us with community outreach and education. They will be in our parks to be able to communicate about who we are, what we do, even where you go for the nearest restroom, or the types of facilities and programs that we have. They will also work closely with us and the Public Works Department to make sure that everything always looks in tip-top shape.
Good.
Well, and that actually completes my report.
Awesome report. All right, thank you, Yvonne. That was awesome. Great to hear. I'm so happy for all the new positions being filled. This is great. We're working on it, people. So with that, we're moving the meeting on to the next step, which is presentation action items. So we're going to start with the presentation. We have a Public Arts Commission here that's going to do a presentation for us. Come on down.
Yeah.
Hey, guys. Seen you for a while. I've got 3 items I'm going to talk about, but there's actually on the agenda, but because our commission moves so quickly, I've got more things I'm going to throw at you as well. And one will be of interest to Teresa because it was something we started a year ago. So we've got a lot going on. The first thing I want to talk about is Pillars of Palm Springs. It has nothing to do with the Parks Commission, but I want to bring it to your attention because it's the scope and scale of the work we're trying to do in the Public Arts Commission right now. And just to clarify, there's a lot of art happening in the city. The public arts budget and the public arts fund is only used for very specific items, and it has to be used to maintain and create and add to the public art collection of Palm Springs. Okay. So for an example of that, the Art in the Park event that you mentioned started, and that was initiated because we did a public community grant for public art. And Duluth Park came to us and they said, we want to paint some tables and benches. And we said, okay, show us your designs. They showed us the designs. We gave the approval, we gave them the grant. And then they went out and started doing them. And then Shan came back and said, we think they look kind of beautiful. We want to do an event around them. And she said, that's what initiated the whole public or Duluth Art in the Park and Art in the Park in the Dark. Las Palmas is doing something similar, but in a different strategy. It's not going to be a park, so don't worry, they're not keeping anything away from you guys. But it to me showed, and it made me rethink how we need to think of these community grants, and we need to start thinking of them as seed money, and that the Arts Commission be an accelerator. So we can say, bring us an idea, we'll get you started on some funding, and then you guys have to run off and get your community engaged in these things, which Shan did really well. Okay. So with Pillars, this is, as I said, this is a specific thing that is going to be replacing the horses on Tongass Canyon Way. For background, those were Desert X from, I believe, 4 years ago. And then we sort of took a long-term lease on them. And the lease is theoretically up at the end of this month, but we're going to be purchasing them. And they're going to be staying in place until we get this next item done. And so again, Pillars has nothing to do with parks, but I want you to think of it as a big, important item, and we're trying to create a big message around public art, as well as the fact that I know you guys we're used to the Public Arts Commission running and hurrying up and doing stuff and catching you off guard. This won't be done for a year, so we're taking our time, okay, and getting it done right. Sorry, that'll make city happy. And this will be a very exciting project. As I said, it's going to be targeting and describing and showing and illuminating what we call the equities or the pillars of Palm Springs. So there will there will be 6. And they're going to be going on the existing platform. That's a 5x5 platform. And what we're doing is we're going to be soliciting artists to come back to us with some designs. And each one will get assigned a different equity. And the equities are creativity, equality, serenity, civility. We kind of got stuck between community and unity. And at one point we thought unity, and then the document in front of council said community. So we're like, well, let's let the artist decide which works best. And we have some ideas on how to make them both work in the actual piece. So we're pretty happy with this, and we're pretty proud of how it's going to look. We've already had a lot of interest from all the artists in the area about this. And we're going to ensure that each of the artists has a footprint within the greater Palm Springs community. Either they started here, they worked here, they lived here, they're shown here, they're new. So this is not going to go to a New York artist or someone from Chicago. This will be money in the community to support the artists here.
That's cool.
Okay. So I'm going to leave Wall of Honor till the end. The Advocacy Gallery. The Advocacy Gallery sort of goes back to when I spoke at the last Joint Commission meeting. And since we have our city manager here, I'd like to make another request for another Joint Commission meeting because it would be very, very helpful for us. Particularly the Arts Commission, because we do cross multiple commissions. As I said, I was just at the Human Rights Commission last week talking about this exact idea with you guys now, and I'm doing Airport Commission work. So it helps to get the community together. But this started at the last Joint Commission meeting, and we were talking about how we want to create an identity for some of the parks with public art and put the public art as a sort of flag out there. And with Francis Stevens Park, we felt that it really needed to show social voices or social advocacy. And I believe at one of our subsequent meetings, Jerry, you were like, well, why Francis Stevens? And I said, every time there's a rally, every time there's a protest, every time there's a parade, it starts in Francis Stevens. And so let's get that message out there. I mean, it's everybody sort of knows to go to Francis Stevens, and it really is figuratively and literally the beating heart of Palm Springs. It's right in the middle. So this idea is we wanted to come up with a way to engage the community to show their social voices. And how can we get them involved? And we sort of went back and forth with different ideas. And then it was like, well, the George Floyd mural that went up during the COVID shutdown was a great idea. And I think a flawed execution. And what I mean by flawed execution is it happened to be on private property. And it happened to be on boarded up windows. So the problem with it is we can't remove it because only 2/3 of the mural is on the plywood. The other third is on the building itself. So to move that mural, you have to recreate the entire mural. And you need to find a property that can hold that mural, which is a whole other challenge. And because it's on private property, the city can't maintain it. So, however, it was a much needed message at that time. And it became what I call a social release valve. It showed a lot of people in the city what the city stands for. So what we wanted to do is create a way to tap into that social release valve and give people the opportunity to create a message. Not in a graffiti way, not like Graffiti Park or anything like that, but more of a curated message. And I really look at this opportunity as a joint between the Public Arts Commission, the Human Rights Commission, and the Parks Commission, because the 3 of us would each have responsibility for this opportunity. And what we would do is create a tablets, if you will. And right now we're talking about 8, and it would be 8 tablets in a configuration along. Right now we're looking at Indian Canyon, but I think 1 or 2 council members may want to make it a little more visible, but we'll find out later on. And the idea is we would create portraits, and they would be themed around a certain month. So except, I think I wrote the document for Black History Month, we may do 8 distinct portraits, but the portraits wouldn't all be handled the same way. So we may have a portrait of Ron Odin, and then we may have a portrait from Kamala Harris, right? She's our first non-white in the executive branch of the White House, and she's from California, and we don't recognize her anywhere in the city, which we should. And then there may be a quote from somebody. We may do a quote of the moment. So maybe that would have been where you could do "I can't breathe" rather than "his face." And then maybe you do something with Lawrence Crossley, and you do the blueprint of Crossley Track, which is really his portrait. So the idea is that it's not a figurative portrait, it's more of a representative portrait of their living. And we take that same approach and do it for Pride Month, or for Hispanic Heritage Month, or for Women's History Month. So we could do things like that that would be programmed curated and approved in advance, but would give people a voice and an opportunity. And again, this would all be local artists. This would all be community artists. Now, as fast as this is moving, when I presented this at the Human Rights Commission, there were some people in the audience and they sort of said, well, maybe you could do veterans. Maybe the veterans need to be involved in this. And I said, well, that's an idea. I hadn't thought of veterans. Then I was sort of going back, okay, veterans, that would be November. Well, that's also Pride for us. Well, maybe we do something with gay veterans. Maybe we do gay veterans on this piece. And my response to him was, we're really looking at this as a community effort, a community talent. So if the community says they want something in a certain time period, we will work towards that. This is not going to be doing something that we only do. And then after Art in the Park in the Dark, thanks, Sham, I thought, well, maybe there's something we could do where we take in off months, we take these tablets and we let Demuth Park pick a subject matter. Because Demuth Park did all these tables and things, again, it would be curated and approved and vetted. There wouldn't be anything antithetical to the spirit of Palm Springs in there. Or maybe we turn it up to another community and maybe we rotate the community. So as I said, we're really looking at this as a gallery that represents the Palm Springs community created by the Palm Springs community. Okay. Cool. The Wall of Honor is not actually a Public Arts Commission project. We're shepherding it through for an outside group. And this is intended to be an installation. They actually wanted to do it in Francis Davis Park, honoring the LGBTQ community and their allies. And the target for this would be to be installed in 2026, which would be the 40th anniversary of Pride in Palm Springs. This will be funded outside. There will not be any city money used for it, much like the Ace Memorial that's going in the downtown park. So again, this is a different messaging, different audience. This is just really the people in Palm Springs that have created something and helped us achieve pride in this community. I will say there was a question because there's two existing memorials for LGBTQ in the city, which I was not aware of. Maybe somebody here could help me. We're trying to figure them out. By the swim center, there's two plaques.
There is?
Yeah.
I don't visit it.
Right by the swim center, one plaque reads Japanese oleander tree dedicated to Venerable Norris Kite, liberator, American hero, donated by Gay Liberation for 21st Century, November 2nd, 2002. There's a plaque there. And then there's another plaque from 2001. This memorial is dedicated in honor of gays, lesbians, bisexual, and transgender veterans who gave the ultimate sacrifice for the cherished freedom we hold dear and enjoy today. Dedicated by on May 7th, 2001, by the Vets Post 66. I can't read it. And it's in Sunrise Park by the swim center.
Never seen them or even heard of them.
That's
Okay.
information.
Never heard of them or seen them.
Yeah, I've never heard of them until somebody on this commission found them or committee. Well, maybe the Parks knows. And as I said, those are the three things we're working on now. I do want to let you know, because I think the first time I came here, there was a bit of distaste, but you have to know that the babies are leaving the downtown area. And they should be gone the end of April. Okay. And that's again, that's public art, but we didn't fund it. So there will be one staying in the city on the side of the Roland. So
That's kind of cool. That's kind of cool. That's kind of cool.
And then I was just at the museum today, meeting with Adam Murray, the head of the museum there, and we're doing some installations around the museum as well.
Cool.
And there is where the car is, which is designated as an art park. It's not part of the downtown park, but it's art park, and the car will be moving in a couple months. It'll be removed, its contract is up. And we've got some other work in there. And what we're going to be doing is programming the art park for artists who, again, have a footprint in Palm Springs. So they are Palm Springs up and coming artists. We want this to be a showcase for local artists.
That's cool.
And there's the existing mural there already as well by local artists, which is great. And then in the area, I believe it's called Plot G. At the end, we're trying to figure out, is this city park? Is it city land? What is it? And I believe that we have permission to do art in there for the next 3 or 4 years. So we're going to be doing some art there, and that style of art is going to be more pop oriented. So it'll be bright and engaging that will play to the crowd that's coming there from Maryland. And so we're gonna be intending to move popsicles there. Just because it's big and bold and people love, it's like actually the most Instagram piece.
And it moves it from there to where it's
Yeah.
actually visible, which is smart.
And a couple pieces like that will go there again. It's just big and bright and will hopefully draw people who may not step foot in the park area.
Nice.
And eventually we'll tease them with breadcrumbs into the museum.
That's right. That's good. Smart move.
And then the last thing, which is, this is, as I said, this is for Teresa, is I came to you probably a year ago talking about doing a art walk or eco art walk along Topless River Estates and North Riverside. The wash there, and we're like, CB Link is there, and we want to get stuff there. It's beautifully landscaped, but we weren't sure if it was a park or not. And it was, turns out it's a parklet. And that's going to be the ultimate destination for the horses.
Okay.
When the horses are done. And the thing about the horses is they've developed a beautiful patina.
They're under us.
Yeah, but you can't see them because you're supposed to be driving and your eyes are straight ahead.
30 miles an hour only.
Right, exactly right. Cruise control, I know you. But so we want to put them in a location that they can be appreciated up close and you think that would be great because there's a lot of development happening down there. There's now 300, 400 new homes going there.
Smart.
That's all I have. Is there any other questions for me?
I personally have I just got a comment for your whole commission, and that's for moving the squigglies. I don't know what the name of it was.
John Clement. Yeah, John Clement.
Great job. They look awesome. Great placement. Thank you for working with us. Think that.
I forgot to mention that. That one, as I said, that was they were originally intended to be placed together. And when they came to the city, for whatever reason, the city split them up. And so the artist was never happy about it. And the one in front of Ernest Coffee actually was its second location. It used to be in the old fashioned mall.
Nice.
And then they moved it to Ernest Coffee and it was hit by trucks 3 times there. So, and one comment that has come up is most of the paint fading really isn't from irrigation, it's from the sun.
I said direct sunlight.
And so what we did with this one with refurbishing is it was refurbished with automotive paint.
Oh, good, smart.
And so it's automotive paint with mix of lacquer. It's the same configuration that they use for like the John Deere trucks and everything.
Yeah.
So it will not fade.
Good.
So happily we're able to match the colors in automotive paint.
Can I throw a little thing in your head for your commission? We now have landscape conversion going on in all our parks. One park that can use some more art that's getting a nice walk path and landscape conversion is JOJ.
Okay. JOJ is a challenge because of the heavy wind there.
I know.
Yeah.
But now we're gonna have a perimeter around the whole path, around the whole park. Maybe just after the landscape conversion, look into it. I think that'd be a great untapped potential there.
I found out that we through a former chair gave me documentation of a lot of, and apparently we have some public art that has seen for a while that's in storage. So we're going to be looking into that.
Hey, I know a place to put it.
Yeah. Yeah. And one question I have is last I was here, you talked about redoing Sunrise Park.
Yes.
Is that happening?
It's part of the master plan. We have a lot going on. We're working on the fires right now, and that's in our peripheral view. It is in the peripheral. So not today or tomorrow.
Just because we've been sort of holding off on installing new artwork there, knowing that it may be moved, and just give me the heads up when we can consider it.
I will be more than happy to.
Yeah.
I'm good at communicating. I'm good at yelling. I'm good at talking. So I'll tell you anything you need to know. All right. I appreciate your Please, Peter.
Yeah, just want to say, I love the idea of the pillars of Palm Springs. Community is unity. You can't spell community without unity. So I think those go hand in hand. But would like to see, I saw on the staff report, you had like love and some other things that would represent the community. Would like to see the power face maybe incorporated in there somewhere.
Council has approved the recommended equities.
Okay.
So we can't switch them out.
Okay.
And that was a concern. They said, they don't want an artist to come back and say, we're going to try something else. So a lot of this is going to come back from what the artist suggests and the type of artists we engaged with. So, for example, and this is obvious, and I admit sometimes I'm too broad and obvious. when I was thinking equality, I thought, oh, you know, some gay artists would probably want to do something with equality. We've had a Hispanic husband and wife who came to us and said, we want to do equality. And I was like, together. And I was like, oh, that might be kind of interesting. I hadn't even thought of that. And then yet you may find a gay artist who says, I want to do Serenity because I feel at peace in Palm Springs. So I think that we need to sort of let the artists speak and see what they come back with the execution.
Yeah, definitely. Especially kind of sounds like equity.
Yeah.
As well. I saw that in there, I
Yeah.
believe. And then with the portraits, I like the idea of a local connection. A lot of the times we get all caught up in the celebrity street names and all that stuff, and we forget about a lot of our local pioneers. So I
I'm a
definitely
big
like that.
supporter of local art. I think that, you know, and something like portraits, you know, theoretically, the portrait will be up for a month, right? Because it's only going to be 5 months and probably even 3 weeks, because we'll need to change out the design. So we'll have to get time to clean them up and install the new one. But that's a great opportunity for me to develop new artists as well. People who may not have the confidence to do a big full-scale mural, that we can say, just try one here, try one here. So I think it's a great idea. It's going to evolve. I know that. That's why we're here asking. This is workshopping.
Yeah, I think that's awesome. Any other questions for the art commission? Almost said comments, questions. All right, thank you, my friend.
Okay, thank you,
Appreciate it.
sir.
Till our
Thank you.
next project. All right, at that, I'm gonna move on to the next section, which is the Demuth Community Center mural. Do we have them available or are they here?
They're gonna be remote.
Okay, awesome.
Okay, so we are getting Christine Soto into the meeting. Hi, Christine, we can see you. Can you hear me?
I can hear you, yes.
Fabulous. Are you alone today or is Adam?
I
here?
am. Adam is busy painting a mural in Northern California right now, but he sends his best. We want him here painting a mural.
So to just quickly tee this item up, I'm gonna then ask Christine to introduce herself and then she's gonna walk through this idea. But Christine came to us with the idea of potentially putting a mural at the Demuth Community Center. Are going to see some artist conceptual renderings today. We're not necessarily asking you to approve the artwork. What we do want you to take action on is whether or not this location, the Demuth Community Center, with the intent that they're kind of envisioning, should be explored as a location for the mural. So we're trying to do it in steps or in phases. All right, Christine, we're gonna hand it over to you and just let me know as you want me to advance the slides.
Thank you very much. Yeah, that's the perfect slide to be on. Thank you for having me and putting me on the agenda, or our group rather, by Nihon Desert. I'm here as a representative of that group. Appreciate you taking the time and the consideration to consider more art at the parks, which I feel like Gary's presentation was a good segue into this one. Speaking of identity for parks, Demuth Community Center has an important role, plays an important role in the Filipino community here in Palm Springs. So like I said, I'm here on behalf of By Nihon Desert. We are an action network of individuals who identify as Filipino American and live in the Palm Springs area. Mostly we like share news, try and help each other out, either personally or if we know someone else in the community needs help. We have a very healthy text thread that we maintain. We're not like a nonprofit or anything. It's really just a collection of very concerned, helpful individuals who live in the desert, who want to make an impact in our community. And one thing that that's a little sort of like the bigger project we've been working on is celebrating the Filipino heritage here in Palm Springs, past, present, and future. just a little background on me personally. Hi, I know there's a couple familiar faces. Hi, Susie. Hi, Dieter. I was born and raised in Palm Springs. My great grandpa was Filipino. He immigrated from the Philippines in the early part of last century and moved our family here from the Bay Area in the 40s. So he was here right as Palm Springs was becoming a city. Santos de Jesus had a restaurant and catering business. He was pretty well known at the time. He's in some of the history books. Some of my family remains, not a lot of us, but me, for instance. And that is why I identify as Filipino and I'm here in Palm Springs with you all. We can go to the next slide, Yvonne, please. Thank you. This is just a few photos and some examples of the community interactions that we've had and things we've done in the past. You can see some local businesses. I also used to own Dead or Alive till last year. So we, like I said, we celebrate that. We can go ahead and move on to the next slide. Thank you. Like I started to mention, the Veterans Tract neighborhood, as it used to be referred to, is where a lot of Filipino people lived and still live, including my great grandparents. That's where they had their first home in Palm Springs. So that seems like the natural place to start this mural idea. And the most beautiful building is, of course, the community center. So that's why we're thinking of having the mural with your blessing. Next slide. We did a walkthrough with Janice some weeks ago, and internally amongst our group rather, and then we've talked with the Arts Commission. We thought about having, or thought it would be a good idea to have a mural near the entrance. But then after some discussion, we said, hey, there's these sort of natural looking, what we'll call panels on the building that could lend to some storytelling for the mural. So that's why I made the image here with the 3 yellow panels. So that is where the art will be painted. Roughly, you know, maybe not those exact ones, but right around there. Next slide, I think.
Wow.
Unfortunately, our artist can't be here with tonight. Like I said, he's in high demand, but he is also a born and bred Palm Springs guy. He went to Palm Springs High School like me, and he's a trained fine artist. Currently, he works as a tattoo artist, but he also does gigs like he's doing right now. He's a wonderful person. He has a lot of family here. I'm sort of bummed he's not here with me because I feel like he sort of closes the deals. Like I'm here talking about the details and he's the charmer. But I think some of you may know who he is. So I won't speak much on his behalf, but I will say that this image here is a mural that he did when he was in college up in San Francisco. That's still there. Next slide. This is an early rendering that we showed the Public Arts Commission when we were thinking about the space near the door where the benches of the community center. So I just want to give you a sense of his illustration ability. There's a long, like probably a lot of you know, but forgive me if I'm repeating, Filipino people and workers are amongst the first people to come into Palm Springs and be servers, drivers, caterers, nurses, etc. So we wanted to reflect that, and then also the immigration story from the Philippines. So a lot of Filipinos did come at the turn of last century by boat into California without family, and they just really established themselves here. And then also reflect the integration of the 2 cultures. Next slide. So if we do the panel idea, here's 2, like a past and an evolution of. Again, I don't want to speak too much to the art because I really feel like Adam does it better justice. So again, my apologies that he couldn't be here tonight. But it'll just give you a sense of what he's capable of, just from a draft perspective. Next slide, if there's another one, Yvonne.
I think that.
Last one?
No, that was
Okay.
it.
Okay, cool. You can go back maybe to the Bayanihan one, if you'd like. Yeah. That is the presentation. Questions?
Anybody have any questions for the lady?
I have a question.
Sure.
Yes, sir. Go right ahead, John.
I'm just wondering, is Adam going to be the only artist involved here, or are we seeking help from the community at all, or is it just him?
Adam would probably have a helper that would be in the community, but yes, he would be the primary artist.
And will he sort of show us a rendering before the mural gets done that we could then look at, or?
Absolutely, absolutely. I think the purpose of this is because when we started this process, we sort of came at it. We started with the Arts Commission because we wanted their blessing in terms of funding it. And we thought, well, if we knew we had a good chance of getting funding, then we could start bringing in all the other decision makers. So if it feels like we're a little bit ahead here on the process before we included the Parks and Rec, please forgive us for that. It wasn't intentional. We just are a very democratic group. And so sometimes the communication is, yeah, a little sporadic, but absolutely, we would want the commission and everyone at Parks and Rec to love the mural. So we would share with you something closer to what it would look like.
No, I remember the rendering from a few months ago, so that's the only reason I'm asking this. I just want the community to have an opportunity to weigh in on it as well.
Okay, yeah, absolutely.
All right.
So for this item, because we want to indicate whether or not we want to pursue this location for this group, we would like to get a motion and a second and a vote.
I'm gonna make a motion to move this one forward.
And I'll second that.
Thank you, Susie.
Second, okay. Okay, I'm gonna do just a roll call vote. Chair Alcoy,
Yes.
Vice Chair Coladonato,
Johnny.
Yes, yes, I like it.
Hi, Johnny.
Hey, how you doing?
I'm great. How are you?
Commissioner Crawford,
Yes, I'm in support of this project.
Commissioner Finland,
Yes.
Commissioner Meyer,
Yes, I'm in support of this project.
and Commissioner Moralia.
Yes.
Okay, motion carries.
Perfect. Awesome. We're taking this to city council for you.
Thank you. Thank you, everyone. Yvonne, am I allowed to, well, I'll just email you about any questions I have.
Sounds perfect. I'll follow up.
Okay. Thanks for your time, everyone. It's nice to see everyone virtually.
Thanks, Christine. Thank you so much.
All right, with that being said, we're gonna move on to the next, which is presentations for the swim center updates, how we had our city manager meeting last month, and now we're gonna let our commission know what we have found, what we have gathered, and what we're gonna do moving forward. So with that being said, let me start with, let me see, everybody got packets here of all the different notes everybody did. And if I have to grade it, Susie, you got an A+, FYI.
Thank you.
I'm failing here, but okay. Okay. So-
On the screen right now, I have just some photos of that working group session too, for anyone who wasn't able to attend.
Yes, I think it was a very, very well-run meeting. I think we came out with a lot of productive and good moving forward actions from here. So like I've been telling a lot of the city, a lot of different people reaching out to me. I've been getting a lot of emails, a lot of phone calls. I don't know how my personal phone got out there, but a lot of phone calls. But just like I let everybody know, we are working on letting our commission know what's going on first before we have another meeting or move anything forward. I want to let everybody know, so we're all on the same page. We go from there, just common courtesy, common sense, and productive, so we can move it forward. So with that being said, I'm gonna ask our city manager, if he wants to make any comments before we do off or go off on anything, or if you want to just move forward, sir.
Yeah, that'd be great, Mr. Chairman. First of all, I just want to, I really want to thank the commission for participating in this process, for creating your ad hoc committee. In particular, I want to thank the 4 commissioners that we pulled into duty that evening. Commissioner Rodley, Chair Alcorn, I know Commissioner Finland was there, and Commissioner Meyer was there. You know, I heard a lot of really positive comments after that meeting where people said, Mr. Manager, I think it was really helpful that your commissioners were the people that were at those easel boards taking those notes, because I think it really added a lot of credibility to the process. Several people made that comment to me, so thank you very much. I thought it was very helpful that you were able to do that. And then, of course, for people that might be listening, after we took all those comments, each one of the individual commissioners kind of reported out on the things that you heard. And so, you know, we have another meeting coming up in May, and I didn't want anybody to think that this was just let's have one meeting and then we're done, everything's solved. That's by no means the case, and I know the commission's ad hoc committee, you're going to be talking about that some more and some of the things we're doing. I'm trying to pay a little attention to some of the things that were said in terms of budget preparation. So I think it was a really good meeting on a lot of different levels. You heard the director talk earlier this evening about the number of hiring efforts that we have underway, and I really think that's a big piece of the puzzle too, to make sure the department's fully staffed and get people on board, and then you know, success breeds success, and now we get other things done. So I think a lot of good news there. So I just wanted to be here tonight, Mr. Chairman, and just say a few words. I'm looking forward to a couple the comments that the ad hoc committee has. And then from there, I know we'll be working with you and the staff on preparations for the next meeting on the 16th. Thank you again for giving me the opportunity to do that and to participate. I'd like to stay around and listen to some of the comments if I could. I've got to be at another meeting at 7 o'clock, but I've got some time to sit around. So thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you, Scott. Appreciate that. So with this, we broke it down into 4 groups: infrastructure, operations, staffing, and other. So we're going to start with a report with infrastructure from Ms. Meyer. Have her give us her report, and we'll go on to each section from there. So Susie, if you do not mind, ma'am, do you mind please taking us over?
Sure, of course. So we spoke about infrastructure in sort of the frame of capital that is available. And I think that there was a general consensus that the water itself and the water quality itself is impeccable. We did get a lot of, that was positive feedback that we got. But when we're talking about the actual structures, when we're talking about things like the restrooms, we're talking about things like the lack of spinning dryers, things like that. There was some concern that because the actual infrastructure is aging at about 50 to 70 years old, that there are some things that can't really be retrofitted at this point and need to be completely replaced. However, there were competing concerns that the community does not want to see the pool completely closed and displaced and swimmers displaced for the period of time that it would take to do major structural overhauls, including things like replastering, which would require a full drain of the pool, basically a drilling breakdown of all of the plaster, a re-pour, a drying, and then a refill. And with the extreme popularity in high season right now for both reservations and free swim, there was a concern that the repairs would cause more frustration with the community. So we really focused on sort of the bigger picture, which is how do we, as sort of arbiters of the funds coming in, indicate to a larger body like the city council where we'd like funds to be coming and how we kind of see them coming over time so that we can deal with infrastructure issues more on a rolling basis rather than a reactive emergency basis. Something that we can speak on a broader level about is that we'd love to include these kind of things like a schedule for maintenance, replastering, maintenance of fixtures at the pool on a more regular rolling basis. And that's something that we'd like to incorporate into the general plan that we are working on revising for the city. We also had discussed the various sources of funding that are available for the pool in order to support this type of infrastructure. And I think the general consensus among the population was we want to do whatever it takes to keep the pool open, whether that's deviating more funds from different areas, whether that's bringing it up in the master plan, whether that is a slight increase in pricing, whatever it is, we want the changes to be made on a proactive versus a reactive basis, and we want to make sure that the pool stays open for the citizens of Palm Springs. So infrastructure is a major concern on an aging facility, and we definitely are taking that as a major priority.
Awesome report. Awesome report. Thank you, Susie, as always. Once again, knocked it out the park. I just want everybody to hear that our city is shifting. We're going from a reactive city to really becoming more of a proactive city. You know, I don't know if people are noticing that. We got some great staff we brought on. Everybody's starting to pay attention. We're not letting stuff go to the wayside. We're actually fixing it before it falls apart. So this is just the start. I just want everybody to know it's just a start. So once again, Susie, thank you. We're going to move on to the next section, which is operations. Who had the operation? Is that John? All right, I'll let John take this over.
Thank you.
Yes, sir.
So one of the big takeaways is that people want more information, right? So they want signs up at the swim center. They want information on the website. They want to know that morning if anything special is happening, or they want to know a week in advance if we're doing a photo shoot. Anything like that would be a welcome addition. The reservation system, of course, was about 50-50, more reservations, less reservations. Well, I guess our test beginning May 1st is going to tell us what works and what doesn't work. Obviously, the more staff issue has been addressed. Some of the other issues were that the lockers are dangerous. This is because they're the old school, like metal lockers. So obviously, once they age, they do get sharp edges on them, that kind of thing. So, I mean, I'd love to see us have sort of those plasticky, I don't know what that material actually is. Those would be great because they last pretty much forever. A lot of people want extended hours because they work, right? So they'd like to be able to come to the pool after 5 p.m., which currently they can't. Couple of comments about the cleaning schedule. I get it. There's ficus trees around. It's windy. When it's windy, there's going to be leaves in the pool. Some people told me that the cleaning was more of a problem than what I personally have observed, but I'm also not there every day. I think that handles bigger items. There are a lot of items on this list, obviously, but I'm not going to go through them all, but those are the top level items, I would say.
Awesome. Thank you, John. So on our next section, we have staffing, which I took personally, the staffing section. I want to see how it was going to go. My feedback from that, and FYI, just let everybody know too, we're giving everybody a synopsis of what's going on. Our commission is talking internally, sharing notes between everybody so we can really work this out. So when it came to staffing, I was expecting a little rougher crowd. They were actually quite nice. I mean, they were quite nice. They let me know what's going on. You know, we had a lack of lifeguards, which we have, it looks like a full staff now for lifeguards. We brought back, we brought back the pool manager, or she's running the pool. It looks like, I'm thinking over the next month, we might see a lot of changes with the proper people back in position. And once again, everybody was yelling at other people in positions. Stuff had to work out. Yvonne, thank you for getting the right people in position, doing it properly, and it's just taking time. We're here now, we're moving forward. I'm really happy. I haven't been getting too many crazy reports, but I think, you know, staffing wise, we're doing very well. We're having some new guards come on. We're starting to open up more. Having cleanliness is very important for everybody. We are doing upgrades. We are going to be doing ADA accessibility, as you guys know. That's one of my main priorities. But we are doing upgrades. It is in the pipeline. It is in the works. Yeah, other than that, I think this last month, just from our last meeting compared to when we have our next meeting, we're gonna have a lot of positive things to say. But I took out of the meeting that the city, just us in general, we hold the pool very valuable. And it's important to a lot of people. We want to make sure this resource is available, clean, consistent, and just open for people. And that's, we got the message and we're working on it. So once again, I have a, not quite as big of a list, but a large list here, and we're working on it. And I just, Yvonne, thank you for, she does so much work behind the books that nobody sees, nobody knows that she's doing it. Thank you for creating and taking care of this. So I'm gonna move on to the next one and go to the other and throw it at Mr. Finland.
Okay, first of all, I just want to say thank you to the city manager and the assistant city manager. We really appreciate your presence at the meeting. I was very happy to see the turnout. We had tremendous volume of people come by, and they shared their thoughts and concerns. And my hats off to, of course, our director, Yvonne, and to my fellow commissioners who worked on this project, on this endeavor. It was a very good cooperative endeavor, and was very happy to interact with the folks and hear their concerns. My category of other, there was a bit of overlapping in some of the categories, and I'm not going to go item through item, but in essence, again, to echo some of the concerns, folks have brought forth to me, they'd like to see more hours for the pools, for the pool to be open. They'd like to see a return to overall operations prior to COVID. They referenced the schedule for cleaning, restrooms in the pool itself, that it should be, you know, fairly done in expeditious fashion, not protracted. They'd like to see a 5 a.m. opening for swim teams for access purposes. The water aerobics wants to have an area to place their personal belongings, such as like a cubby hole set up for that. Some folks have put forth, they believe that the monthly passes are too costly. They would like to see improved communications via a newsletter or an email blast or information that's posted on our website that's visible to all. They'd like to see the establishment of a swimmer's code of conduct, which I'm in concurrence with all the items that they have brought to my attention, but most specifically, something such as that I think would be very valuable in going forward. We're getting slowly away from what we refer to as the high season, and we're going to be getting into the quieter season. But certainly that's something that could be worked on and addressed and put in place in a timely fashion with regard to next season. There was some complaints registered with regard to the pool being rented out, that it should be done on non-peak hours, that sometimes there's special photo assignments for photography displays that are being set up, and it's interruptive for the folks using the facility. And I'm going to echo something that was cited during public comment, in that our city is growing, and it's growing by leaps and bounds. We're probably in the vicinity of 48,000 residents as of right now. And as we look toward the future, that number will increase. And we're going to be needing more in the way of just a singular pool. So it's something that we should address in going forward. Certainly our population is growing. There's a beautiful facility that we have at the swim center. And we want to be able to accommodate the needs of the people of the community. So that's something that we should really think about and entertain. There were other items that were brought to my attention, and I will incorporate those into the minutes for the meeting for today. But those in essence what I just shared with you now were the highlight areas that people had brought to my attention. The people who came to my easel or my work area were very enthusiastic about their sport, and they were great esprit de corps I saw amongst the folks that were there. And I was very happy to work with them, to interact, to listen to their thoughts and feelings. And certainly I've conveyed those and shared them. And I'm glad that this will be an ongoing endeavor. And the feedback that I've gotten post initial meeting has been very positive. And we want to see that continue because this is a great city. This is a great facility. And we want to see this facility grow and expand, and certainly be attentive to the needs of our constituents. So that's it.
Thank you, Mr. Finley. So that's the other feedback. That's quite a bit what's going on with our pool, and it's quite a report. Thank you for all the commissioners that have been involved. Our lovely little Tot, my favorite little buddy there. So with that being said, I appreciate the presentations. Thank you to all the commissioners that took the time out of their day, that went above and beyond, that actually spent the time there with the city to talk and do these special meetings. Thank you. It truly means a lot. City staff, thank you. We got a great staff that's going on now. I don't know if everybody's noticed the uptick we have. We have some really good staffing here. I'd like to support them as a community and help move stuff along, because they have the right head on their shoulders and all the right reasons. So let's do this. So thank you. Thank you for the presentations. I'm going to move on to our ad hoc commissioner updates.
Chair Alcorn, can I
Yes,
jump in
ma'am.
with just one other thing
Please.
from this item? So we know that the feedback that we talked about tonight, obviously, was the feedback that we received on April 11th for those individuals who were able to attend that in-person meeting. We know that there are others who wanted to provide their feedback as well. So we want to launch a survey so that we can do two things, so that we can start getting additional input from those swim patrons who were unable to attend the meeting with the city manager on April 11th, as well as, what we heard is we've got a really, really big list, and we need to figure out a way to start prioritizing. So this week, we are going to release a survey online for any swim patron to be able to provide feedback, as well as to start to attempt to prioritize where we should start, or the areas that we should start addressing first. So that survey will be released on Wednesday of this week. It will be live for about 15 days. And then at the next city manager meeting on May 16th, we can start to look at some of that additional feedback, as well as the first stab at the prioritization.
Wonderful. Thank you, ma'am. So it'll be live tomorrow. It'll be live for 15 days. Wednesday, perfect. Live for 15 days. So get your opinion in on there. So thank you. No, that's awesome. So with that, let's move forward to the ad hoc commissioner updates. Start to my left. Do you have any updates, Dieter? Or ad hoc updates? Sorry, let me start with the ad hoc updates. I apologize. Let me go to is there dog park updates?
As everybody knows, the City Hall Dog Park closed beginning today. The reopening is 6 weeks from now. And last week, the Demuth Dog Park got additional DG put in. I did see 3 people there on my way here this evening. So people are using the Demuth Dog Park. The shade structure will be delivered June. Do we think it's June or July?
I don't have the exact month, but we'll
Okay.
get that for the next meeting.
But the reason for it's a long, I don't know, time from order to completion to installation is why it's not happening until June or July. But at least it's happening right when it's really hot here.
Wonderful. Thank you, John.
Yep.
That's awesome. Can I make one comment on this too, John?
Mhm.
So if you back up 2 slides, Yvonne,
Shade structure or?
one
DG?
more. Right there. So
Oh, sorry.
what I'd like to propose to our council maybe even just if we have the budget for it, our fence out there is only 5 foot tall.
Hmm.
And we've had already one animal had an incident with the ball flying over, hitting an animal.
Mhm.
We're hitting our shade structures that are brand new from CV Link. Is there any, and I know we have pole structure issues already because it's older, it's older, but is there any way of us extending it up 8 feet, 10 feet? We need the fence to go higher. We need something, because like I said, we've already had an animal get hit. The owner was very distraught. We were able to work past that. We've had the shade structure hit quite a few times, and we had a huge tournament there this past weekend. So if it's something we can look into, I would truly appreciate that.
Sorry, I neglected to bring this up, but actually, Vice Chair Caldonado, Director Weiss and I all talked about this, and we are talking about getting a large screen, kind of like what you would see at like a driving range or whatever, to prevent exactly this problem.
Once again, this is why you put people in the right position. Thank you. Awesome, being taken care of. All right. Thank you. So with that being said, let's move on to the next commission. Landscape conversion. I'll go ahead and take this one. As you guys heard, we have all the approvals for our landscape conversion. We worked quite hard on that. Moving it to city council. Now we're just trying to get it taken care of. So it'll all be done within our acquired time. I think we did a very good job choosing proper landscape. We chose stuff that wasn't too deciduous, that wasn't too spiky or hurt our population. We made sure to really take forethought as far as making paths cross. So I think once again, it'll be a nice added addition to our city, not anything else. So let's move on to the master plan. Do we have an update for the master plan by chance? Susie, do you have anything, or anybody have anything for the master plan?
So we did not meet, but we did talk at the swim center meeting about the importance of including things in the master plan that have to do with proactive maintenance of the swim center, as well as proposed budgeting for future additional spaces, aquatic spaces, based on the needs of the community and the growing population. So that's kind of just dovetailing on the report that we gave earlier.
Wonderful. Once again, we're on top of it and we're paying attention to the future. This is great. Thank you, Susie. So let's move ahead to the park enhancements. Does anybody have any? Dieter, do you want to say anything on that? Anybody want to say anything on the park enhancements?
No, you guys just did the mural.
Yeah, we got the mural being done. The new equipment's being installed. It's so park enhancements are moving on. FYI, our playground equipment only has so much time. It has 10-year, 12-year lifespan. After that, it's deemed unsafe, unoperable. So that's why you see the closure of the certain parks. Just the equipment, actually, we're putting new equipment on it. We're actually working on it, making sure everything's very vibrant, bright, safe, secure, and able to work for everybody. So that's moving forward and it'll be installed here shortly. So with that, we're gonna move on to the pickleball. Mr. Finland.
Thank you. Okay, pickleball ad hoc, we meet like every 2 weeks, and we just had a meeting recently. We're going to have another one on Wednesday, May 3rd. And the primary thing that's an area of concern for the group is the lighting issue. There's no consistency as of right now as far as the lighting setup. They would like to see that rectified as soon as possible. And we have a big project in the works for the city of Palm Springs, which will be the creation of additional pickleball courts over at Zamuth, going into 2023 to 2024 of the targeted completion. So we want to have a consistent lighting system for the existing courts and for the new forthcoming courts. To the best of my knowledge, I believe that by the end of this week, the RFP will be going out pertaining to the court expansion. And the group just expressed a desire that they would like to, if it's available, they'd like to see a copy of the RFP. And I do believe they reached out to the city manager they would like to request, if she's available, if she could be present at our next ad hoc committee meeting on the 3rd, which we can discuss that. One of the members mentioned that we do need additional magic markers at the site, and perhaps maybe a bungee cord option or additional sand or water to weigh down. We're having issues with things blowing over. We may find that we won't be needing a whiteboard in the summertime because we're moving out of the high season to the low season. There's gonna be lesser people coming. Certainly, the whiteboard is vital during peak season. But as we get into the summer months might be something that, it's not gonna be as greatly needed as at other times of the year. Magic markers will certainly be needed for when we do get back to the busy time. We've also been looking at some other facilities across the country and checking out what they have as far as pickleball courts and considering different options for shading purposes. And maybe we should think about having solar panels built into the shading coverage system for the new courts. When that comes to pass, it certainly could be something that would be economical for the city. This sport is growing by leaps and bounds and growing in popularity. And we really want to have different ideas as far as design and events and going forward to put Palm Springs on the national and international map for the pickleball sport. So we're generating a lot of ideas in that regard, how we'd like this new court expansion to look, and what we can do in terms of events when those courts are created. And it's been cited at our most recent meeting, and it's been cited on other occasions that pickleball is a revenue generator for the city of Palm Springs. So it can be a moneymaker for the city. So they just stress that it's something we should keep in mind in going forward. And also, does not to be repetitive, but one individual mentioned at Mary mentioned at public portion, public comment, the DG issue as well that needs to be addressed. That has been a time that has been not addressed, and we need to put more our focus and attention on it going forward. And again, another individual cited with regard to court barriers and proper weighing down of the barriers. And that is about it. I commend this group. They meet with me religiously every other Wednesday. They're very enthusiastic. They always have a wellspring of ideas that they share with me. And certainly we want to do what we can to be accommodating to them as well. We have heard great ideas this evening. We're at the swim center and where we want to go for that and for that facility expansion, but also hand in hand for pickleball. It's a growing sport, and we want to do whatever we can to put our city on the map with regard to that sport as well. And that is my report.
Thank you, Michael. Can I ask you some quick questions? Sure. Really quick. So your meetings, your next meeting is May 3rd?
Correct.
Where at? What time?
It's going to be May 3rd, 1:30 p.m. and it'll be conducted via Zoom.
Okay, via Zoom. And hopefully one of the city managers or one of the city staff can be there. You're trying to get one of them to come on if they can.
Yes, that request was put forth, and I just wanted to share for the record for the meeting for tonight.
I'm just interested. I might join myself to just see what's going on. You guys, you're doing a great job with that committee, seriously.
Well, as I said, their enthusiasm is infectious. So we have our bi-weekly meetings, and I keep them in the loop and send them emails in between those 2-week timeframes, just to let them know whether it's a minute detail or something moderate or major consequence or importance. I'll keep them in the loop and let them know about that as well. So we stay in touch.
Good Lord, my friend. Good job. Very good job. Thank you. A couple quick questions. Another thing I heard, I saw David writing a whole bunch of notes. So we have the lighting around the pickleball courts we're going to look into. We'll see what we can do. No guarantees. I mean, we had to replace all the commute because of the old school setup. It wasn't able to get retrofit. So there's no guarantees what we can do, but let's see what we can handle. I'm sure there's some kind of solution out there. Also, as far as DG goes, there is, instead of having to replace it, there is glue. Maybe we can glue it, and keep it in place because they're only walking on smooth shoes. We'll try to find solutions. That's all I'm trying to say, but we'll look towards stuff. Thank you. You're doing a great job, Michael. Seriously.
Thank you for the thank you.
No, seriously, great job. You took on a big ad hoc right there and you're nailing it. So great job. So with that, I'm going to move on to the swim center, which we heard a whole presentation on it. Do I need to, no offense, beat a dead horse or? Okay, so with that, It was a really good and productive meeting. I'm super happy with the way everything's gone today. I'm glad we're commuting. I'm glad we're meeting back in person, which. Wow. So with that, I'm gonna ask, is there any commissioner updates or comments now? We've all had our ad hocs. Do any of my commissioners have anything personally to say?
I have something as well, once whoever's in person is done.
I see we got a ladies first, Miss Meyer.
Oh, I'll keep it quick. I just wanted to thank Yvonne and her staff again for coordinating the town hall on the swim center. I think that we could use that as a model for various types of community concerns. I think that that really shows people that their feelings are validated and keeps the momentum going. I'd love to see that in other subcommittee spaces. I just want to thank you for all the time that that took to put together.
Here.
Yeah, just want to say, I love the idea of a new pool, a second pool. I saw in the notes a couple times that we mentioned, the city of Palm Desert and their pool. I would be interested in having like a water play area that they have, and slides as well, you know, something more friendly to children and families, not just kind of lap swim and water aerobics. And then I heard good things about the World Art Day event. I wasn't able to attend, but I did hear some people in the community speak really highly of it. So just want to put that out there. And last but not least, the early childhood literacy program at Desert Highland. Just want to bring that up again and see if there's some type of way that we can bring that program back. It was lost during COVID. I know we budgeted for a literacy coordinator, so I just want to mention that and see if there's any type of way we can get that program back.
Yeah, that one is on our radar to get that position back.
Thank you, Peter. Anybody else? Michael? John?
I've done enough.
I say, I'm giving you a side eye here, sir. All right. With that being said, I think we've had a very productive, good meeting. Our next meeting is gonna be, May 22nd in this room at 5:30 PM, 2023. Whoever can attend, please attend. And with that, I'm gonna ask for a motion.
Motion.
Thank you, Michael. Can I get a second?
Second.
Thank you, Dieter. With that, Parks and Recreation Commission meeting is closed at 7:07. Thank you very much, everybody.
Thanks, everyone.
Great work, team. Great work.
Looking forward to seeing you here next time, Johnny.
Absolutely.